Do we have people here for the meeting?
Yes, Director Gibson, everyone's here except for, I don't see Johnny. I see Jerry and Terry and
Is Terry doing it remotely too?
they're in the room.
Okay.
So Director Garcia, Director Kelling, and Director
I muted her again. It's at least it's not on.
Call her, text her, so.
Lisa, we're getting really bad
Feedback.
feedback.
Static.
We can't hear anything as soon as you unmute, so that's why I muted you.
Everybody else is okay? Deborah,
Yeah.
unmute yourself.
Hello?
Rebecca?
Yeah.
Things we didn't know until we got the thing. If it's
Hey,
bad, we'll.
Can you hear me okay? This is Pam.
It's not gonna work.
We'll
We
switch
have
to
a
what?
quorum, but it's not emergency. We can only vote on our quorum with 3-man quorum if it's an emergency.
Yeah, if it gets bad, I'll just switch it to the, if it stays bad, we'll switch to the speakerphone again. We're gonna have to do that.
I don't understand. So Becky, Rebecca, Director Gibson and I are not counting? You can't hear me?
The new equipment?
Yeah, dude, we just installed it. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now and
But I just-
I don't know why I would be feeding back. I'm doing it the same way I always do.
Meeting equipment gave us a.
Lisa, we can hear you okay. The people who are
They-
joining by way of Zoom, it's the people in the office that are having some problems.
They said they're getting feedback from me though. Or is it
But
from?
it was just, I think it was just you talking at the moment. They seem to be getting feedback all the way around. So it sounds like within their system, they've got 2 audios turned on at one time, and that will cause feedback.
Oh. But we did it for 2 years during COVID.
Yeah, and I'm not okay with them discussing that they're gonna have the meeting with just 3 directors.
No, I think what they were saying is that they're going to leave the video part of it on the new hardware that you've got, and they're going to switch the sound system part of it
No,
back to the old
but that-
hardware.
That's not what I heard Director Garcia talking about. Okay.
But Joan, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
guys. Yeah, we can hear you guys really
Perfectly.
well here.
Okay. Okay.
We've been there.
Boy, this is one confusing meeting.
Well, I remember when we first set up ours, we had to shut the laptop on silent and just use the teleconference. So maybe one of them has the laptop on with their speakers and their microphone, and it's getting feedback.
Why don't you
Oh.
text that to Tiffany if you could, Pam?
Sure.
Because I don't know what's going on exactly, but we've had issues with this and we have a brand new system and I don't know why we're still having issues.
Actually, I'll call her directly. It might make more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fine, yeah.
So we didn't have any.
Okay, well, you're the last person that we're waiting for, so we can start anytime.
Tiffany, can you hear us okay? Because we can hear you now. Are you getting
Yeah.
feedback?
Yeah,
too?
do it. To the phone, so,
Are you ready?
yeah, we're back. We can do it.
Yeah, it's that mic is not great.
Someone talking? No, go ahead. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order Thursday, April 27th, 2023 at 4:08 p.m. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Here,
Director Nyman. Here. Director Kelly.
Here.
Director Schoenberg.
Here,
I rented my car. I'm Director Garcia. I count for all 5 of directors. Thank you. Okay, discussion and vote if there's any adjustment to the agenda needed. Not seeing any questions or comments, I will move forward.
Is that where I have a question or a comment? Right now.
Number 3,
You are.
public comments. Items not listed on the agenda, limited to 5 minutes. Thank you. I have one public in our office today. Would you please stand and say your name and let us know what you're here for?
Nancy Kleider. I just have an issue with my bill for last month.
Okay, we got the general manager right next to you. What is the problem?
It was $250, which is
Sorry, can you speak up,
it
please?
was $250, which is double the highest that it's ever been. Not double, but it's winter, we weren't watering the yard, there's just 2 people in the house. And the only thing that was different was the meter was changed, so see that how many acres or cubic feet, same thing was used, so.
Yeah, so when this was happening, and you noticed that it was high, we sent the guys out a couple of times. They, confirmed, this is your meter, by the way, that they pulled out. They confirmed that it was definitely had water flowing through the meter and that you had used that much. The reason they changed it out, you can see how scratched it is. They decided that they, were gonna go ahead and swap out the meter at the time. It definitely was not because we wanted to cover up, overusage. Because these meters, they never overread. Physically possible. The older they are, old like this, they can only underread. Turn on the low flow of water, the needle won't turn, it won't move. But they confirmed it twice that the reading was correct. It is a meter and it shows, still got the same reading on it, that's the way the reading was. Definitely flowed through it, so either a toilet got stuck or something happened, they cut water at you. Well, nobody thinks it happens, but my father-in-law is one of the biggest water savers on the planet, and we gave him the tablets to test his toilet, and both of his toilets were leaking. He had to replace the flappers, and then they were still leaking, and he had to sand where the flappers needed. So there's no way that it can, like I said, no way it can overread. So if it reads, whatever the reading is, that's how much water flows through the meter. Whether it was through a hose that got left on, the toilet that got left running.
What was the cost?
Well, 7,700 cubic feet of water, so, like she said, it went from, roughly $85, $78, down to, up to 250, 28 is what it was. She's had some bills that were kinda high, 142, 94, so she is consistent with not having that much, but.
Right. Have you turned your,
We fixed every leak.
Are you-
There's no leaking. Believe me, I know leaking toilet, leaking faucet.
well, what you have to do is not have any water running that you know of in your house, make sure that there's no water,
But they
and go to your,
confirmed that there wasn't a leak. The secretary told me that they checked the meter and confirmed that nothing was leaking.
Okay, but see, when we check, we can only confirm
Your house.
at that time. This little triangle right here,
But nobody was home when they confirmed.
again, but this only confirms at the time of checking. What we read is for a month, so over the course of a month, that's what I'm saying, at some point, something got stuck and got left running, and that's why it's water. No physical way,
But it's at the same exact time that you change the meter.
it's not. When we changed the meter, it was after you had already used all that water. It's not at the same time. The reason we read, and we bill for the prior month. So when you were concerned about the bill, and you had us checking it, and we changed out the meter, you had already utilized that water for the prior month. Which is why, one of the reasons, we're getting smart meters put in sometime over the next year, so we can come out and we can tell you exactly what time and date and time that you lost your water. Because now all we can do is tell you that from somewhere roughly the 20th to the 20th, you used that amount of water, and we don't know where it went.
So what I would suggest you,
7,700, I'm sorry.
Which is not that crazy. I mean,
can I make a suggestion?
Director Nyman, go ahead.
I would like to make a suggestion that you have when you go home, either you or your husband, make sure that everything is off, and you need to look at your new meter and see if if the triangle's running, if there's anything running. Because if there's anything running, it means you have a leak on your side of the house.
well, again, the guys confirmed there was no leak. So that's
The
what I'm
old meter or the
saying,
new
but
meter?
it doesn't, well, both. We don't leave a new meter in if there's possibility of a leak. But what I would do is you go out and you read these numbers, these tenths, read the first, last white number and the tenth each day. Go out, open the lid, look at it, figure out if getting an exorbitant amount of water. You might go for a week checking it and everything seems fine, just like it was before, and then all of a sudden you'll read it and it'll be a bunch of water, and then you'll go, oh, wait a minute, something happened, what happened during this time?
Is there any, thing else that we can offer, such as payment on the bill, or maybe?
Absolutely do it.
We have an automatic payment, so it's already gone through. But I can tell you, this is a comparison now with the meter, because we don't have anything running, no running toilets. We went through everything and checked it last summer, because we were worried about everything. Over the week, we ran around the house looking for everything, my husband and I don't understand how the cost would be that much higher.
And I
Like
understand.
this, in August when we were watering outside, July, 300. So I guess this might be like, because I don't understand why it's so different. Maybe they average it and then double it or something.
It would say estimated, that's what happens, but what happens is if you're watering and you're only using 300 cubic feet, because a single person that does no outside watering uses at least that. So what that's telling me is that this meter was under reading every month. And at some point, that you use enough water to where you got that high usage, but that's what the problem is, it never speeds up. I called the manufacturer of 2 different meter companies, spoke to them, because for the last 14 years, I've had this discussion many times. Everybody is convinced they did not use it. I had one lady for almost 2 years swearing that there was no way she used that water, and then I walked up to the side of her house, and behind a piece of plywood, there was a hose bib that had been turned on, and she had 2 plumbers out there checking. Just saying, I believe that it's...
Donnie, have you been out to this residence?
No, I haven't.
Could you possibly squeeze it in, a visit to?
I can certainly do that, but
That'd be great. I was
the
gonna ask you.
yeah, I'll certainly go. But as far as swapping out the meter, you can see right here when the meter was swapped out. That was after the usage was already used.
Okay,
And I have the meter right here.
okay.
Is that her meter? Is that what it is?
That's her exact meter.
Oh, so you've been dealing with this already?
Oh, yeah, I have her formal appeal, and I have the printout of her history,
Oh, okay.
and I have her meter sitting right here, so we
So
can
you
look
have
at
done some work on
we
it?
can look at what the meter reading was before, and then look at what this meter reading is.
Yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. I do. I'm just saying, 7,700 cubic feet of water.
That's a lot of water.
Huge amount. Like, if you take the cubic feet of this room.
That's almost like a year's worth of,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's many people in this town that use 5,000 cubic feet of water.
we have never used that.
I understand that, but that's, something please,
So
something
we thought
happened, because, again,
There's something happened because if there was that much water, what's the cubic feet of this room, okay? Like, you've got 20 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet.
okay, but those,
So 10 times 10 times 20. Can someone see that 10 times 10 times 20?
but what I'm asking you to do,
20,000?
what I'm asking you to think about is, it's the laws of,
2,000.
what I'm asking you to think about is
So
it's
we've
the
got
laws of,
2,000 cubic feet of water in here.
Hmm.
Like, that would make, like, 3 or 4 of these rooms full of water that we use.
over a
We wouldn't see it.
over a 30-day period, if something
But
running.
my septic tank would have overflowed. I would have seen water out in the yard.
Under the laws of physics, if this meter read is correct, and is compared to the prior month, there is no way.
I'm not gonna get anywhere with you. You don't have to explain.
Well,
You're not hearing me.
I don't want you to feel unhappy about this, but the
No,
fact is,
people are
so
happy
can you
about
tell
it.
me how this meter could overread? And how it could be
It's a flow
changed?
meter, right? Well, I
Yeah.
have to see the inside and see that
There's a magnet in here. There's a propeller that turns only when water flows through it. When the water flows through it, it turns the propeller, and it turns the magnet, and that's how it registers.
Okay,
So it has to have water flow through it for it to turn. There's no other way.
why is it not zero right now?
It's never zero. This is an ongoing reading from the time the reader was set.
Not the numbers, the needle.
Because that's where it stops when the water stops flowing. Watch, here, let me show you
I
something.
hear you.
Let me show you something in the kitchen. Here, we need,
we far extended our 5-minute time
Okay,
limit,
so-
so.
Is there another,
There was another question from the audience?
It's not on anymore.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go on to, number 4.
Director Garcia, could I make a public comment / request?
Please do. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Color.
anyway,
I'm wearing-
I'll come out.
I'm wearing
Discuss
a,
it further. I definitely want you to be happy about this. Feel better.
Is it
Okay,
Joan?
you guys, it's very difficult to hear, so we need to have no one speaking when Joan's speaking because you can't hear on Zoom.
Okay, we got it, we, over 5 minutes, and we try to, you're gonna have to see Johnny.
Should I go then?
Yeah.
Start with me?
I'll see you on Monday, I'll call.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
go ahead,
Thank
Joan.
you for coming in.
Okay, thank you. Bye, dear. Bye, bye.
Bye.
thank you
All
all. I just have a quick request. I'm wearing a headset and when Director Garcia does his gavel, it comes through 10 times louder and kind of blows out my ears. So if we could be
Okay,
softer on the gavel, please. Thank you.
no worries, absolutely, thank you for that. Okay, number 4, standing committee reports, accounts payable committee.
We met, we looked over invoices, we had Deborah cut the check.
And, just a note of reference, there was, I made some transfers, we had some invoices from, D. Jasper and Associates. They were invoices that never got submitted, they were from,
All these stale accounts.
from in 2021, there was, an invoice for $3,818.75, which was the generator project. There was one for $8,386.75, which was for Wolf Tank. So I made, and then there was another Wolf Tank one for $6,194, and there was one for, general, which is this time. I made those, transfers from the CIR account to the revenue operating account. I also made another invoice, 210819 for $1,403.25. There was from CIR to revenue operating, there was, one for $238.92, that was also a Wolf Tank, and it was 21-08020. And those two were paid before, so those two are, those were never transferred apparently, back when they were done, so I made those transfers. I made a, transfer for Wolf Tank of $844.25, invoice number 2104014. Also for $308 for Wolf Tank, it was 210415. And a transfer for $231 for Wolf Tank, 21-06018. There was also 21-06017, which I already said was 6194, and one for $8,386.75. That was Wolf Tank, 21-04013. So, so we had I made some transfers for those, and other than that, that's what we did on that.
Thank you. I'm gonna take this moment, excuse me, I'm gonna take this moment to interrupt the agenda, and I'll entertain a motion to adjust the agenda to take a call from our legal, our lawyer,
I'll move
Alan
that
Dowd.
we adjust our agenda so that we can take,
Well, you have to give the number.
well, he's on the meeting right now, so I'm not sure which agenda items he's gonna address, so maybe we can move this.
I wanna go to number,
This is for the
8 and 9. Closed session, no?
No, it may be an open session.
I have a question.
Can
I
we,
have a question for the Accounts Payable Committee.
Yes,
We aren't there yet.
No, that's just what we were doing.
we're not there yet.
Hang
Okay.
on,
We
Betty.
just did it.
just, well, yeah,
Excuse me.
they stopped us in the middle of everything because I was gonna ask a question as well. So I think we need to ask Alan if it's an open session item or a closed session item that he's here for. And if it's closed session, then we need to make a motion to move forward to the closed session and then return to the standing committee report so that we can ask questions.
Thank
I'm here for actually an open session item, but would be happy to participate in closed session if you'd like.
Johnny, do you have, input on that? I don't.
No.
Dee, did you have anything that we need to do in a closed session?
No, I don't, Rama.
And what
Okay.
item are you here for, Alan?
I'm trying to find it on the agenda.
It's,
It was
The owner negotiations.
it's 10D.
10D.
Oh, or for the state update, or the state, well, 8.
Okay, so that's in regard to the CEQA, correct?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to move that we stop what we're doing at the moment and we go forward to item 10D so that we're not keeping our attorney on the phone so that he can talk about the acquisition of well 8, the CEQA issues.
I second that. Motion has been made and seconded, although it's finished. Roll call of, directors. Director, Gibson,
Aye.
Director Nyman. Aye. Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 5-0-0, motion passed. Alan, you have the floor.
Okay, so I guess we're going to item 10D. And I just want to confirm, I think I see here the additional teleconference locations, Elm Trail and Walnut Trail. That's for the 2 directors that are calling in, I assume.
Correct.
That's
Okay,
correct.
great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So for 10D, what you have in front of you is a draft, a proposed notice of exemption. You have a well that we're very concerned about its viability. My understanding is that it's hanging on by a thread. And if it goes, your ability to stay ahead of your necessary supplies, particularly to be able to meet peak demand, which is going to happen probably in the next 3 to 4 months, right? Is going to be severely diminished. And not to say that it will, but it could. And it's even likely that it will. So you need to acquire a site for well 8 that will, once constructed, supplement well 6, and then you won't have to rely on well 5, a failing well 5, to satisfy your customers' demands. In light of that circumstance, when you acquire land for well 8 and you construct and operate well 8, that is a discretionary action that has a potential effect on the environment, and so is subject to CEQA, a CEQA review of some kind, unless an exception applies. And it's our recommendation that a statutory exemption under CEQA does apply. It's the section that's here on the agenda and on the NOE. It's section 15269B within the CEQA guidelines that speaks to emergency circumstances like this. When such an emergency circumstance applies, you're exempt from the CEQA process. So our recommendation is that you approve acquiring the well site, approve constructing and operating the well, and authorize district staff, well, I should say, adopt the NOE and authorize district staff to file the NOE with Kern County.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve. We approve going forward with the acquisition of the site for well number 8, and that we approve the CEQA notice of exemption.
If you'd like, you can just echo my recommended motion, and I can work with Tiffany on the language for the minutes.
Okay, I accept Alan Dowd's friendly amendment of what he had just said.
Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded.
Fine.
Who
Roll
was
call
this?
director. Lisa Schoenberg seconded.
Okay,
Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Nyman. Aye. Director Kelly. Director Schoenberg.
aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. Motion 500, motion carried.
Okay.
Would you like to go into closed session as long as I'm here?
I think that it might be good just briefly. I make a motion that we go now to number 8, closed session pursuant Government Code 54957, and number 9, closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957.
Do I have a second? A motion has been made. Adjust the agenda one more time and been seconded. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Nyman. Aye. Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 500, motion carried. Let us now Go, prior to a closed session, Government Code 54957.7, and a conference with real property negotiators.
Property, well, you have to read the whole thing under, not 8 and 9.
Yeah, you need to read both of them.
Yeah, agent, okay, excuse me, code 54956.8, property, 25530-28, agency negotiators, Lisa Schoenberg and Brahma Nyman and Dee Jasper. Negotiating parties, Veronica Alcaraz and Carlos Aceto. Are all parties present?
Well, they're not present.
And then
We're gonna go into closed session to discuss about acquisition.
Okay, you want me to read 9 as well?
Yes, 9 as well.
Okay, also number,
You didn't say what was under negotiation.
property negotiations.
It says price in terms of payment.
Price, here we go. Price in terms of payment, there we go. And number 9, same closed section, Government Code 54957, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code 549-956.8, property 256070-54 and 256070-55. Agency negotiators, again, Lisa Schoenberg, Brahma Nyman, Dee Jasper, and negotiating parties, Jeff French, Emily Wainwright, and under negotiation will be the price and the terms of payment. There you go. Alan, you have the floor, I believe.
No, we gotta go into.
We have to go into closed session, so please don't do
We know,
that yet.
We're going.
We're going,
We're
we're
now
going.
going into closed
Can
session
you announce the time?
at
Can you let-
4:35.
Can you let everyone know that it's not going to be a really long time, hopefully, so they don't, for Joan and Mary and anyone else, Dee? Oh, Dee will
I
be
think they're
there.
hearing you now.
Pam?
Does all the audience understand that? Should have a short legal closed session and come right back to y'all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to redo the, Zoom or the audio. She's working on everything right now.
Hold on.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yes,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear
us,
you.
Lisa?
I can hear you guys.
Oh.
So. This is Pam.
Oh, wrong one. Okay. Thank you, Pam.
Of course.
Got it, okay. We're getting there.
I can still hear you. Nope.
Okay. Everybody hear me?
Returning.
Yes. I'm clear.
Okay, we're now, thank you. Thank you for hanging on. We are now returning to the main session.
Go ahead.
This one's supposed to be muted.
Oh, okay, so
That one,
Okay, we're now in the main session, and we had no reportable actions taken on the closed session. We're now returning to the general session at 5:02.
Does he have to state the pursuant thing again?
We were, in the middle of,
On 4.
4 payable committee, accounts payable committee, are you finished?
they had questions.
Yeah, both Director Gibson, if you want to go ahead first, and then I have a question as well.
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay, Director Schoenberg, you have the floor.
Actually, I thought she was going first. Okay, so my question, which I have now, of course, forgotten. Let me see. So my question was all of these things that we paid. So are you telling me, Director Nyman, that there were 2 different situations? One situation is that we didn't get the invoice, and so we transferred money in order to be able to pay an invoice that we didn't have from like the 2021 or whatever. And then the other situation, as I understood it, and I just want to clarify that, is that there were a couple of invoices that were paid, but they were paid out of the operating revenue and not out of the capital equipment amount. And so those were transferred over now as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Is that all you had, Director Schoenberg?
And was all of that information given to Deborah as far as her making sure that all of those invoices are going to be classified in the correct spot under Wolf Tank?
She has all that information as far as I know. Deborah, you want to chime in?
Deborah Angel, are you with us still?
Hello.
There we go. You were muted.
Okay. I think the information on the check detail shows that the categorization of each of those checks.
Okay, I haven't looked it all the way through.
And I did check the QuickBooks system to make sure they had not come through prior to putting them on the work detail.
Okay, thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Okay, Director Gibson, did you have a question?
I do, yeah. What I'd like to know is why we're just now getting invoices from 2021.
Because what happened, from my understanding, is when these accounts payable, that was when his accounts payable was sick with cancer, and so some of those were missed, and so his new accounts payable had been going through things and found that those were never submitted to us. Am I correct, Dee?
No, those were all submitted. The dates and the addresses are on each invoice. However, some were submitted by email, some were mailed, but they were all submitted, and that's why we were sitting waiting for the payment, but moving ahead because that's what we do. But these things mounted up and were never paid, but our process is to keep going and get it squared away as soon as we can. When Kelly left, she was very sick, and so I do know they were mailed out. I know they were sent out. But you know, I asked Gail to see if she could, you know, tell us which ones were in the mail, tell us which ones were emailed, and she's going to work on that. But yeah, they left our office, and they've been out there a while. So you know, that's kind of where we are with it, and we're trying to get together. We will get together with likely with Deborah and with Tiffany and Gail and myself, and any other board member that wants to be involved, especially Lisa and Rama, and you know, go through these things hopefully next week. And so we have a pretty good idea where we're at. I know some were way old, and we kept asking about them, and they just, you know, they were somewhere.
I don't want to argue with you, Dee, on this. I don't think it. Because I can't see that if you'd been asking about these are 2 years old, that we would not have addressed them, because most of them were coming from payments that we do directly. We weren't waiting for any state money or anything like that. So, you know, I don't want to get into a argument or anything, but I know that our people, that if they were asked several times or a couple times, that they would have been submitted. So anyways, I'll just leave it there.
Checks are in the mail now.
But the checks are in the mail now.
Okay. We knew we'd get paid someday. So
Yes.
we're
Okay.
not worried about it. Yeah, I just told you what I know.
How about state update meeting committee?
So we met with the state. We did discuss with Lawrence the changes that we had for the budget, and also some other things that he needed information from Dion. So that did all get discussed. And we also discussed very briefly with Ryan Eisenhower because Jesse had already left early about the water hauling. So he was looking into that, which is just the 2 water hauling, 2 days of water hauling that had to do with the leak. And so I'm not sure where we're at on that, but basically we met, we discussed all the things that we thought we had to discuss.
And most of them will be covered in the following agenda items.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Let's move on to quarterly financial committee.
So the quarterly financial committee met a second time, and we went over the what was left of, on the 18th, we went over all the items that were left that we had not gotten to on the first meeting, and we did complete that. And so we made changes as we needed to, and we're now done with that until the next quarter. And we did find a few things wrong that were either miscategorized because we made them we had put them as an asset as opposed to an expense, or an expense as opposed to an asset, kind of thing. So that was all repaired with Deborah Angel, and so we should be able to move on to our next quarter at the next meeting.
Okay, wonderful.
Well,
Number 5, ad hoc committee report.
Yeah, I think Deborah might want to add to that. I don't know if Director Gibson.
Deborah?
we did, yes, we did finish the items that showed up on the profit and loss, the income and expense items, but we did not get a chance to
for the
look at the balance sheet so that we could most specifically look at the items to be recategorized in the assets. So that's still left for the first quarter, and I think we need to have, an ad hoc meeting for that.
Right, so our basic financials were okay, but we need to recategorize additional items that are on the asset list. So we will be scheduling that. And did you have anything else, Director Gibson?
No, I do not.
Thanks for refreshing my memory on that, Deborah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just thinking we did all the profit and loss, but yeah, we didn't finish all the assets. But we did move a couple of items that we knew that we needed to move that were in expense.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, the financial committee.
No, that was, so now you're on 5. That was all 4.
Okay. Ad hoc committee reports, project committee.
I don't believe that we've met.
Okay. And then the financial committee.
Okay, so we did meet again to discuss, which will be coming up on this agenda, some issues that are going to be coming up with the potential of us losing our 2 employees that have experience. We just have 3 employees right now, one who is only 9 days on the job and 2 more that are experienced but have been given offers elsewhere. So that will be coming up, I think, somewhere on the agenda, but that was our main.
On the financial business.
Excuse me?
On financial business.
On number 7.
That's what yeah, okay. Right, but
Alrighty.
I'm just giving the report of what we did right now on the financial committee. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Let's move on to number 6. Discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. Deborah, would you like to address the board?
Yes. So out of the revenue operating account, we cut 13 checks for a total of $28,516.19. The extraordinary disbursements, page 1, there was a check for $4,436.55 to D. Jaspar. Another check for $3,818.75 to D. Jaspar. $8,386.75 to D. Jaspar. And then on page 2, a check for $6,194 to D. Jaspar. And I think that's all of the extraordinary expenses.
All righty. Any questions from the board?
I have a couple questions.
Director Gibson, you have the floor.
Okay, I just wanted to ask on the stuff we got from Fraser Park Lumber. And I know this is a small item, but it just stuck out to me. A flashlight that cost $75.
Yeah,
What kind of flashlight is that?
the rechargeable flashlight, any decent one costs a decent amount of money, and we were trying to find where we were losing 1 million gallons of water, and had to look at the bottom of the tank, the bottom of partial B tank, so we had to have good light, because the ones that we got for $30 were not cutting it, so now it resides in Jose's truck.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any more questions? All right, let's move on to number.
I'll move that we pay our bills.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia and I. Motion carried. Thank you. Let's move on to item number 7. Discussion vote on employee retention. Donnie, is that something you'd like to address?
Yeah, I'll start.
Are we done with Deborah?
Yes, Deborah, we are finished.
Okay.
You can be excused if you'd like to.
No, we're really not finished because I think she needs to be here for this discussion to help if we need it. Just briefly.
That for, copy that. I rescind my last comment, Deborah. Please hang in there.
I'm here.
Okay, number 7, discussion vote on employee retention. Johnny Ellison, our manager, you have the floor.
Okay, so everybody knows the situation with trying to employ people, trying to hire people. We have 2 employees that have been excellent over the last going on 3 years, and they've both been offered jobs at Santa Clarita Water for way better money, better benefits, and the people that are applying, our ad says 18 to 25, depending on experience. And these kids that haven't worked even a full year in something that's not related to water at all, that are asking $22 to $24 an hour. So upon discussion with other business people in the community on their situations, their experiences, and then talking to a couple of board members, I think it's time for us to try to figure out how to retain our employees. And before we get started on that, I know Lisa has stuff to talk about, and so does Becky, as you all will. But initially, the thought was how to bring up employee number 2 and do something for Tiffany and do something for employee number 1. Which is fine, but now the way I would like everybody to look at it is I would like to do better for the lead person, not worry about the other operator in the field. There's a way for people to get hired here and come up $4 more an hour. I think it's more critical to have an experienced lead person that's going to stick around for at least a couple, 3, 4 more years, because with 1 experienced lead person and 2 new guys, we can still operate. I don't think we can come up enough on 2 to get either of them to stay, let alone both of them. But I think if we put together what we were thinking about doing for both of them and just compiling that and giving it to the lead operator, and then figure out what we can do for Tiffany to keep her from wanting to leave, then I think we're going to be much better off than hiring people, keeping them for 2 years, retraining them, sending them to training and paying for the training and all of that stuff only to have people want to leave. And they're not leaving to be mean. They're leaving because if you get offered $7 to $10 more an hour, a COLA of 7%, which is average for all the companies that have been hiring people, I think it will, we're just going to end up shooting ourselves in the foot over and over and over again. And historically, I've been able to take up all the slack in the field. I've been doing this for a long time now, and I need somebody that's physically able and younger that can continue to do it. I'm going to be 57 next month. I can't continually work a shovel and do my desk job all the time. I can help out, but I can't do it all the time. So I would like you guys to discuss, maybe have Lisa or Becky start the conversation off after that, and then see what we kind of agree to.
Director Gibson, would you like to address the board?
Well, no, I think we're between a rock and a hard place, and I think we need to try to hold on to our employees, but it is going to create quite an expense for us, and we need to find ways to save money in other places, and we need to examine places where we might be spending more money with inexperienced workers, like paying Santana to do stuff that our workers now are able to do. And so, and I think we need to protect our general manager, because if he gets hurt in the field and he has to go on, sick leave, then we're really screwed. That's a professional term.
Hello?
Hello?
Somebody else have a comment?
So,
Director Schoenberg, if you want to address the board?
sure. So we started trying to look at some of the numbers, but we're not, it's quite a bit to look at. And the problem is I don't know, I would like to see the actual physical offers because I don't think that we can match them even with our lead, but we can try to come closer. I know that we talked a little bit about the fact that you're not having to do the driving, you're not, there's I don't know how long it would take for benefits to kick in at the new company and all of that kind of stuff. So there's some advantages to staying. And then, of course, there's some advantages to leaving. There's no way we could possibly, I don't think, match a 7% COLA. We talked about and we never got all the numbers crunched. We were starting to try to crunch some numbers on, like a lesser COLA. The issue is that COLA is at, like 8.7 or something we looked up for federal right now, but there's no way that, because we can't do, so our issue is we can't do another Prop 218. We've got 2 more years, well, 3 basically more years on the Prop 218 that we did. So, and the one advantage of the Prop 218 is that it does do a 3% raise on all of the consumption fees.
I thought we did a 5% raise on everything.
No, we did not. We did 1%. We did 0% the first year, 1% the second year, 2% the third year, and the fourth and fifth years are both.
But what I'm talking about when we doing our budget for salaries and for employee benefits, that we put a 5% every year inflation increase.
That was the calculation for the.
No, we didn't. That was the really loose calculation that our previous bookkeeper did. We didn't calculate it that way because it's very inaccurate to calculate it that way. I mean, we did do some of that, but that wasn't the only calculation. We looked at a lot of different things. So, and I'm not talking about the employee calculations. I'm talking about the percentages that we actually have on our Prop 218. So those are the percentages of additional money coming in. So this year, the percentage goes to 2%. There was 1% last year. And that changed already. It's a little weird because our fiscal year does not match our Prop 218. Our Prop 218 changes in January. So we already implemented the last percentage raise, the 2%. And then next year in January, we'll be implementing 3%. And then again, in the following January, we'll be implementing 3%. So definitely we are going to need to look at some of the other places we put money. I think that I didn't want to throw out actual numbers here because I wanted to get a better take on what the actual numbers were for both of the employees from them.
As far as getting employees to give us an actual written job offer so we can peruse that, that's a privacy issue. They're not asking me, just so you guys know before everybody starts shaking their head, nobody came to me and asked me, hey, can you guys match this? They're like, well, we're good. We're doing better. I gave you all the time that we can. They told me, almost a year ago they were going to start applying for jobs. About 6 months ago, they started doing that. I did employee verification for both of them. They've both gone through the lengthy process of months. I was told yesterday that one of them, that when the guy called, that it would probably only be about 2 weeks. So, I mean, it's coming. So
if we don't make a decision tonight, then
if you look up on Santa Clarita Water for the water operators, you can see what their span is. You look up any other water company, you can see what the span is. Now we just have to decide if we want to retain them. So we need to approach them instead of saying, well, you got to give us this and that, because these are young guys. They've already made up their mind. I need to try to retain them with something. Well, not them, one in particular, like I had said. And I think we could do it. I think we could definitely save money. I think I could get another commitment for longer. I would like to see something as going up to 35 and a 2% COLA to see if that would retain him. I think it might. That'll match the dollar amount that he would be getting somewhere else, but it wouldn't match the COLA. But I think he's young enough and he's good enough. Oh, and another thing that we're not even addressing is the match for his retirement, because that's a big deal. So, you know, we're already matching 2%. I would like to ask him to not push for that right now until the next rate setting that we do in 3 years. Well, we'd be starting it in 2, and then see what we can do as far as the retirement issue goes. Because he's young enough, he might not be that as concerned with that, but we got to see what we can do. So that's my ballpark for what I think would be fair to try to retain him with.
That's a $9 change that you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's what he's being offered. That's what I'm saying. But he would also have to be turning down the 7%, well, it'd be 5% difference in the retirement, as well as the 7% COLA every year. And instead of trying to retain 2, where we have to worry about trying to get 1 to stay and share with the other one, we're just going to try to focus on the lead person and our basically office manager to see what we can do to keep everybody content, happy, and committed to at least another few more years of working around this place. And it may not even work, but we got to come up with something to offer.
And you know, we're just setting ourselves up if we don't do it and the 2 experienced workers leave, then as soon as the inexperienced worker gets trained on our dime, he'll probably choose to leave too.
I'm sorry, but we are a small company. We are not Santa Clarita Water. We are not Arvin Water. We are not.
So what do we do when we have no employees?
We don't have thousands of connections to pay these people.
Great, but other water companies up here that are smaller than us, they don't have as many employees, but they've had to come up as well. And I'm sure there's other people that can talk about that. You have to do something, because even though we're small, what will we do if we have no experienced people? I mean, that's what I'm asking. I understand we don't want to do this, but what will we do if some old tired manager is the only guy out there working, trying to accomplish all of this stuff? I mean,
Send Roma.
and then we call Santana, and I'll tell you, just for his backhoe alone, he doesn't even start his backhoe for less than $250 an hour to run it. And that don't count his employees, that don't count the hourly wages and all that stuff.
Pam, what is your hourly wage that you pay your employees?
If you don't mind saying.
Joan, are you
He
comfortable?
gave it to Johnny.
I have an email if you would like to
Yeah,
Go ahead and give
share
us
with
the information.
Okay, just hang on. I was just double checking. I think it's just under 32 an hour.
That's for our operator.
That's just for our operator. And he went up last year a lot because we wanted to retain him as well. We gave him.
But no medical, right? Are they split up between 2 jobs? Krista and Lake of the Woods?
No, he only does Lake of the Woods, and he gets full medical coverage.
For himself
thanks,
and
Pam.
all of,
Him and his
and
family.
for all of his kids as well.
Yeah, it's just under
and
32. And
He's
he's
the
the only
equivalent,
operator.
wait, is he the equivalent of Johnny, or is he the equivalent of our lead?
We only have 1 employee out in the field, so he's everything. He's Johnny and everyone else.
But what I think what Lisa's asking is, Pam is the equivalent of me. The operator is the equivalent of Corey. It does all of the physical, day-to-day planning of the stuff.
And what about Krista?
Chris
Do you
has
have
a
any
contractor.
information?
We have a contractor, so we have a contract person that comes out once a month. And so we pay him hourly, $75 an hour.
Oh,
For
Yeah.
what, And a monthly contract. I'm so sorry.
No, I was just saying the Lake of the Woods only has 300 connections roughly, and ours is
392.
much bigger. 92.
And FYI, Santana, if they come out with the backhoe, it's a starting price of $400 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a list of how much we paid him in the last 5 years.
Yeah, he's got, since you wanted to start thinking about retirement.
But our inexperienced guys, they can't even run the backhoe, right?
Well, we only have one. We only have one guy that is inexperienced that I think we would be retaining. So yeah, he doesn't know how to do any of that. The other one that knows how to do it, he's definitely going to be leaving. And then our lead person would stay, and he's an operator.
I mean, even if we came up for him, he
Well,
would.
he might consider it, but I mean, with the feeling of what we need to come up with to retain the lead operator, and then the discussion and the sound of dismay about the finances, which I get because I've been agonizing over it. I don't know how much is going to be left to throw at another field operator. I would love to retain them both. It's nice to have a crew that meshes, that doesn't have daily drama, that doesn't have power struggles, and everybody does what they're supposed to do. But I'm willing to settle for the guy who's going to
But
help keep the thing going.
Johnny, you had also talked about the fact that if we raise him to that amount, his overtime is going to be 1.5 times that $35 plus. We pay double time also, not as regularly, but we pay about 20 hours every paycheck of overtime, which would be at double. I don't have my calculator, or 1.5 that. And so you had mentioned that he's going to be making more than you at that point.
What he's making right now, oftentimes his paycheck is the same as mine, and I'm on the leave just as much as he is. So yeah, because when he kicks into overtime, I'm still on my salary time, and I get paid less or the same as. So if he comes up the way I'm hoping he does, then obviously he's going to be bringing in way more than the boss.
Well, I think, and I don't want anybody to get upset, but I think just because we raise the field people doesn't mean that we have to raise Tiffany's. I think that she should get a raise. Maybe we'll look at raising her from the last raise, like a year from there, and doing a review of that, and then giving her a raise. I just think that, there's limitations on how much and what we can do.
Yeah, I think it's been
Can I speak?
I think it's been about a year, so we could do the review thing. I don't know if Tiffany would be opposed to going through the formal process. The thing with Tiffany is the guys have the guys have an avenue of raises by certification. Tiffany, no matter how much training she does, which she does all the time, she doesn't have an avenue to do that. So I could do an employee evaluation and present it back to the board, and we could decide at that point. But do it by the next meeting or two.
And frankly, can I just say, I need to speak to this because I was in today, Tiffany is constantly doing both her job and the front office job. And I really strongly feel that she does an awful lot of work for us that's very helpful with the spreadsheet. She wears multiple hats, and she's kind of we're not calling her an assistant, manager type person in the office, but she's doing a lot of office stuff as well. So
she's helping with Dee's bookkeeping.
And doing Dee's bookkeeping sometimes. Sorry, Dee. But so
She helps with the bookkeeping, HR, training, the front desk, billing, all these grants that we didn't have when she started, tracking all of those. So you're right, she's doing a ton of different things, so.
So, you know, I understand us not doing a lot of money on the people that are trainees or on brand new, or maybe just, you know, at the top or close to the top of their job, you know, level right now. But I definitely feel like, and you know, one of the things that I was thinking about on our other operator, and I don't know what would retain him or not, as opposed to just the lead, is that he's currently an operator one, and really, if we did want to keep him, he would need to move to an operator two, because he would be, you know, he's pretty much close to the top of his, you know, if we gave him a raise, he'd be at the top of his range anyway. So, so I don't know. I don't know if we need all the numbers per se tonight. But I do think that we need to have a general, consensus or, you know, something.
Well, I mean, I think if you make the decision, you're definitely losing, they're waiting to find out. And I think that if we don't make a decision tonight, that you're definitely gonna lose the second one and more than likely the first one. So I mean,
Okay,
I hate to say it.
You're just gonna throw some numbers out there without seeing any kind of bottom line of what that does.
Well, the way I'm looking at it is I'm trying to figure out how much we're able to put away every month over and above our bills without saving anything. And I think that will easily pay the difference in wages, as well as still give us something to put away for the capital improvement plan. That's the way I look at it, because I don't understand all the rest of it well enough. So that's what I was trying to base it on.
I mean, right now we put away 30 grand a month. I mean, you're definitely gonna have you'd have to reduce that maybe to 25 grand a month.
No, I think you'd be reducing it almost all the way. We're talking that these, both of our employees, if not our new one as well.
It's not gonna cost 25 grand a month, Lisa. It's not gonna cost the whole amount.
Whoa, man, chill out.
What I'm telling you is that we pay 10 to 20 hours, basically 20 hours. We went back and looked, 20 hours of overtime, pretty much every single paycheck. And so you need to just know that, you know, when you're going, you know, whatever numbers you throw out there, I'm not saying one way or the other. I think we need to raise their rates so that we can retain them.
Okay, so the 20 hours, if you're paying the 35 at time and a half, you're talking about $1,050 a month. That's for the $35. If we went $35 for the lead operator,
That's time and a half.
Your time and a half, he'd be getting $1,000 more.
Okay. They also get double time, and we also have to include in payroll taxes. We have to include in work comp, we have to include in all that stuff, because everything goes up. So I just want you to think about that. I don't know if, you know, I think that's I don't know. I feel like we're just.
Overtime rate is $52.50 an hour.
Right.
For that, so that's 2 hours minimum each day for the 3 days we're off. For that, and then they do get double time, but luckily it's usually just very small increments. It typically stays in the time and a half unless we get one in 20-hour leaps, and then of course it's going to be double time.
You know, I don't think they're going to be getting overtime when they are working in Santa Clarita. I don't,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they're going to be getting overtime. Everybody that I've talked to has been, that's part of their agreement. You have to be willing to work. Even Beverly Hills, when I did the employee verification and talked to that guy, I said, I'm surprised you guys even have old pipes. He goes, man, this has been around for a long time. He said, we have all kinds of old pipes in the ground. There's all kinds of overtime for them. I think they'd have tons of money. They still have aging infrastructure.
And are you considering, Director Nyman, that they're also asking for COLA and they're also asking for, or Johnny is, I mean, they haven't talked to us directly at all, but there's COLA involved and there's also a potential raise of the money that's being matched to put away for their retirement. So I just
Now,
want
I'd
you
like
to,
to explain why I'm asking for 2% COLA, because like what we were talking about, it's certification based for in the field. Corey has reached he's waiting for the actual certificate for his D3, because you have to do some paperwork. So he's already at the top of his certification. Got T1, T2, D1, D2, D3. He's at the top. So he knows part of his feeling with looking at other places is, where do I go now that I've maxed out? What's my future like if I stay around for a while? There's got to be some carrot dangled in front of his face with the economy being so terrible, and it costs more and more money. Yeah, like we all have, but the cost of living has gone up too. Lisa just said the COLA for federal was 8 point something, and if you're not getting any COLA, you're just losing money each year that the interest rate gets worse by staying here, as opposed to going somewhere else. So that's my carrot that I was asking for. Something.
So, I mean, you're looking at an additional about 26, just for the lead operator, you're looking at 2,600. If that's with overtime, the 20 hours, that's without any other overtime. We're talking about an extra $2,600.
Yeah, and then let's try to figure out figure out what the 2% COLA would be, how much difference that makes in the budget, because we have to figure out what we could sustain over the next 3 years at least, until we do the next rate study.
Well, the 2%, how does that 2%?
Well, you gotta figure out what his annual wages would be.
the way it would,
You don't.
the way it would need
Go
to
ahead.
work, the way it would need to work on the COLA is we would offer whatever raise we offer now on whoever we're offering it on, and then whatever COLA we're offering would kick in on the date that we, like either on our fiscal, I don't know how we would, where we would kick it in, but it would kick in on the following year, that percentage. And so basically can I just explain COLA? So the way COLA works is that it's not a flat 2% on what they make, it's 2% on their annual, correct?
But that's because you're a salaried employee.
Oh, okay.
An hourly would be figured, the COLA would be figured on the hourly salary. So it'd be $35
Oh, that makes sense.
times point.
What do you work out the exactly same thing though?
No, because he's getting time and a half all year long, and all of a sudden he's making all this extra money, and then if we did it on the.
What's 2% of?
At 70 cents.
No,
So
it's Brahma, it's figured on the wages. Yeah, it's figured yearly, but it's figured not on his whole amount. I think you were saying that, but it's figured on his normal wage. So whatever you put him to as his normal wage, not including the overtime of either time and a half or double time.
Well, that would be the same thing as doing 2% on $35 an hour, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because we would have to give him the 2% on the 35 an hour, and then if you got overtime.
Because you have to figure out what the hourly rate is.
Yeah, I'd also like to throw out there, granted that we're always going to have overtime here, but also when we have you guys that are trained up higher, they are making that kind of money. They do their fair share of the being on call, being on standby. Also, we have the $10 million grant that's going to get rid of some of our worst mainline in town, which is going to get rid of a substantial amount of overtime. Then we're also doing the telemetry upgrade right now that has cost us huge amounts years past with overtime. Now it's better than it ever had been, and Ness is supposed to be coming out to install the new radios and computers. So we're getting overtime down from where it was before, and it's gonna get better as time progresses. We're always gonna have it though.
You know, I don't want to be a fatalist, but if we lose our two experienced workers and our administration assistant, what are we going to do? How are we going to run this business? And I get it, Tiffany. I mean, Kelly, I know that we are a small business. We can't match Santa Clarita. You're right. You know, but what will we do?
Well, I'll tell you what, because there's another local water company that is entertaining this, and what it boils down to is finally when you can't retain people and you can't run the company, you got to tell the state you can't do it, and somebody else has to step in. Either you try to afford somebody like ECO that just ran us into the ground, or somebody like Cal Water comes in and runs it, and then they raise rates to whatever they want and charge stuff. So we still have to look at what we can't exceed what we have, obviously, but trying to avoid losing everybody is also very beneficial to the company. Does anyone feel inclined to make a motion?
Well,
Well,
so here's the question. I'm thinking that we raise him to 33 an hour because he's got driving time, he's got gas, and wear and tear on his vehicle and all that. So I'm more inclined to say something like 28 for the second employee and 33 for the lead employee, and the 2% COLA. Because from what I understand, they're at 30 and 35 is what the two offers are.
Probably, yeah. So
Okay, does your
it would be nice to try to retain both the guys in the field. It's my understanding that one of them is pretty excited and pumped up about leaving. So I don't know if it's going to help to offer anything.
But I mean, even if we approved it,
so 33 plus the COLA, so we have something to dangle.
Yeah.
So Brahma, does your amount include the $3 that we pay him for being the lead operator?
yes,
Yes.
yeah, because he's,
Okay.
It includes that, and I'd have to redo that letter, that agreement, because if at any point he decided he wasn't going to be lead, he would obviously drop back down that $3, and whoever took over lead would get that $3.
Right.
That's pretty set in stone, so.
yeah, so that would be a $7 raise from what he's currently getting. And if you,
yeah, but here's the deal. The deal is that if we don't give them
no,
this, they're leaving.
I'm stating a fact. I'm not arguing anything. Thank you. I'm just stating what it is because somebody was asking. Director Gibb. So that's including the $3 because we're assuming right now that he would stay the lead.
Well, it would be at $8. Isn't he getting 25 an hour right now? Yeah. So,
he's getting 26. He's getting 26.
Oh yeah, because he got his
certification. Yeah. 26. Okay. So we're talking about a $7 raise for him, and then the second operator
is only getting 20 right now. But
right. So he'd be going up $8 an hour.
But he has some certifications, so those certifications, as soon as he gets those, that would be $4.
Now, let me ask you this. If it turns out that the second guy still turns us down, and the first guy is seriously considering will give a commitment like he did last time, you guys give me the authority to come up to what I originally asked for, 35. If I know, I'll try to keep them both, and if one says, no, I'm still leaving, then we'll just go ahead and do,
But we haven't even talked about the other things that we need to do, like Tiffany's.
oh, I understand that. I'm just saying, right now, we're just hammering out the initial, like Brahma came up with the suggestion, so that's all I'm asking. If we keep it all in consideration, decide what to do after.
Yeah, I when Becky and I were initially looking at this, we had come up considerably around 31 or 32, but seeing as that's what the person makes at Lake of the Woods, that gives me a different idea, but because I think we had less that person was making written down. So and then we had talked about the second person coming not up all the way to 28, less than 28, because we were including the 2% COLA, and we had talked about Tiffany coming to the top of her amount, which would be like 26.
What? Okay.
20.
I have a problem with that. But I still think we should try to retain the second employee by offering him at least 28, because I believe that if you don't go up to that, he's gonna leave.
Well, the good thing about that is we could offer him that, and then if he still decides to go, then I could actually advertise for somebody with the same certifications as him, and I have a higher, decent wage that I could try to bring people in with, so that makes total sense to me.
Okay.
gives you something to work with.
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to make that into a motion? Director Nyman?
I'll make a motion that we raise 50. Oh, I don't want to say that. I make a motion that we raise the assistant. What's the title? Administrative assistant to $26 an hour, and that we raise the second operator to $28 an hour, and the lead operator to $33 with a 2% COLA.
That's 3%. And that's assuming that they accept our offer.
Yeah, well, of course. Assuming that they accept the offer to stay. If the second one does not stay, then we would offer the lead operator the 35.
And so, Johnny, are you saying because they're going to be making considerably more with overtime than you make at this point with that raise?
I think we need to discuss that, but I'd like to finish this as one motion.
Maybe as far as that goes.
Can we visit yours next?
I was going to suggest that we actually do a closed session like before, have my agreement ready, for whatever, and then we can figure out what to do. And so we'll put it on the next regular meeting, 2 weeks for me. Everybody else
yeah, it's only closed session if we're evaluating you. It's your wages are not closed session. It's only closed if we
yeah, you can look it up online.
With your performance that we want to bring up.
Okay, do I have a second?
Can I second it?
Yes, you may. Motion has been made and seconded by Director Gibson. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
I abstain.
Director Schoenberg.
I'm going to say, I'm still, can you reread the motion? Because I didn't understand what happens if the second person does not take that money. If the second. operator-
Then the lead
Then the
operator would be
lead operator is.
But you also said though, you could use that money for getting a
I-
second guy at a decent raise. But that would only be, the rest of the $2, yeah, would be in the wage table. Yeah, $3, whatever. Yeah. So I think you're gonna have to try to rephrase it again and revote. Unless that's good enough for Lisa.
I think you just need to vote on the dollar amounts right now, and then if he doesn't stay, I think we need to revisit it in a different way, because if we need to get another operator, we're probably not gonna bring them in at the top of the wage, because then where are they gonna go?
No, we're not gonna bring them in the top of the wage, yeah. I'm just saying, when I go into negotiations, I would like to have, $1 or $2 leeway for the one that I think would be receptive to staying. You know, they might just full jump on it, that would be great.
Well, I don't, that's not in the motion, then you need to rephrase the motion.
That was in the motion.
It was in the motion, yeah.
Okay, I'll rephrase the motion. I make a motion that we raise the administrative assistant to $26 an hour. And that the second operator, we raise to $28 an hour with a 2% COLA. Also, the
So wait,
lead operator.
So if he gets his 2 certifications, he'll be at 31, he'll be at $32 an hour.
Yeah, that makes sense, so let's, not do 20, let's do 25. 25 for this. That's a $5 increase.
Or 26.
Because if you do 25 and then he gets his T1, T2, that's 27.
Let's do 26.
Okay.
No, wouldn't it be $4? Isn't it 2 each?
No,
Because
No,
he's,
it's $1.
It's $1 each. T1,
No,
T2,
it's
that's $2. He's already
Okay.
got his T2.
okay, so he's getting a T1 and T2, which would be $2. Okay, sorry. I thought it was 4.
Okay, so, let me rephrase this motion. I make a motion that we raise our administrative assistant to $26 an hour, that our second operator to $26 an hour plus a 2% COLA. And we raise the lead operator to $33 an hour plus a 2% COLA yearly. And if the second operator does not accept the position and chooses to leave, then the general manager has the authority to offer the other $2 raise to the first operator.
Do I have a second?
Director Gibson?
Yeah, I agree with that change. I'll second it.
Okay.
Or that rephrasing.
Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Abstain.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. We have a 4-0, 1 abstention. Motion carried, 4-0-1. Okay, so we'll move on to number 8.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Have a good evening.
Hey,
We'll move
Deborah,
on to number,
before you leave, Deborah, for our next meeting, which we have to figure out, can you just crunch those numbers as they are now? Because we're gonna have to remove things from other places, so. Yeah, if you can.
Yes.
Can she
kind
do
of-
it when she gets back from her recharge?
Yeah, after her recharge, when we meet again, which we haven't set a meeting yet.
Okay, I have written the numbers down, so I will be prepared to give you new figures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to, thank you. Number 10, discussion vote update on Fraser Park Lake of the Woods Consolidation Planning Project. Letter A, discussion vote
Excuse me.
review on project.
Excuse me. I am
Yeah,
having
sure.
I am having a very difficult time working with this system. It's coming through loud and it's very stressful. And I would like to exit the meeting. I hope
Well,
that's okay.
You can't turn your volume down?
No, it's down. Like when you're screaming, and it's
Well,
difficult to hear Johnny.
I will try to make sure that my tone is a lot quieter. I apologize.
How about your screaming, Brahma?
What's that?
How about your screaming?
I'm screaming right now?
No, not right now.
I think the problem, Becky, is that initially nobody could hear us, so everybody started talking louder. And now you guys can hear us too well, and we're still at the same tone. So we will all try to.
I will
Okay.
make sure that I speak a lot lower.
I actually have
If
the
I was
opposite.
And if I was screaming, I apologize.
I actually have the opposite problem. I'm having trouble hearing, so we just need to not step on each other.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like Becky's having she's tired, so does it matter if she stays the whole time?
Is there anything else on the grants and stuff that we have to, the skip loader's the only other thing that we need to vote on, I think.
We have claim number 14.
No. If she needs to leave, then let her leave.
Yeah, we gotta-
Here's feeling.
Thank you.
Unable to
Have a
make
good night,
that.
Becky.
Good night. Okay, well, I was warned about the gavel tapping, but what about the voices?
Okay.
Anybody else having any trouble with it?
We'll just be talking. If you can't hear us, you can ask us to repeat. We'll try to stay at this level.
I just wanted to apologize. Carlos and myself totally spaced out on the fact that the board meeting began at 4:00 today.
Okay, well, we're just getting to your stuff, so it's not a big deal.
So did I, and I'm the one that asked to change the time, and I forgot. Don't worry.
Okay, let's skip down to number 10, A, discussion vote review of the project timeline. Anyone have any input on that?
We pushed out the timeline 2 weeks. Isn't that correct, Dee? On the MSR?
Yeah, that's correct. It's ready to go. If we vote for it, I think, are we considering that tonight? And so we can approve it and I can get this thing off to Bravish down at Stanley Hoffman.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I have not, I totally spaced about doing the first, 40 or 50 pages, and I didn't get a copy of it, and I had not reviewed it. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm pretty much, I can review it, but I pretty much trust that it's just been updated with new numbers and new information. But that's where I'm at with it.
That's my experience with, because I have been reading it. It's my opinion that it's information that we've already been through multiple times, And then he asked me for current numbers and stuff too, so he updated graphs and charts and stuff, but.
Director Schoenberg, do you have any comments on this, or?
Well, that's not, we're out of order because we're just talking about the project timeline. So,
Okay.
as far as the timeline goes, the MSR is still going to take a while because we still have the whole portion that Bravish has to look at and do. So I think we should just.
Yeah, we
Yes.
pushed it out 2 months, I'm sorry, I said 2 weeks, it's 2 months.
So can we just address this part on G?
Yes, we can. Okay, let's go to B.
There's nothing else needs to change.
That was what we moved out ahead of. Let's go to C.
No, we didn't do the budget adjustment request.
Isn't 10B what we moved up ahead?
No,
Oh, D.
it was D.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, letter B, discussion vote on the budget adjustment request.
So Lawrence received that, correct, Carlos?
I'm not sure if Tiffany sent it to him.
No, because we have to approve it at the meeting before I send it.
Okay, so then I think Carlos, you need to just go over it in this meeting so that the board okays it and then we can send it.
All right, let me open it up real quick. Okay, so in this budget request, we are moving all the money that we're moving is coming out of test well drilling. And that in the total amount of $33,214.27. And the reason for doing so is we want to zero that budget item out because we're not using it no more. So we are moving $14,788.09 from test well drilling to legal, increasing that from $15,553 to $30,341.09. And also from test well drilling, we are moving $8,969.18 into consolidation engineering, bringing that budget from $22,000 to $30,969.18. And also from test well drilling, we're using 6,000 and putting it into consolidation MSR, bringing that budget from 35,000 to 41,000. And then lastly, we're moving the remaining $3,457 that was in test well drilling. We're putting that into environmental document, bringing that budget from $56,216 to $59,673.
And in addition to that, we asked D to change a couple of things. So where he was charging some things to MSR, we asked him to charge it to MSR PER because a lot of that work is actually PER. Well, we'll be using it for the PER later so that we can actually charge to that portion of the budget for that work.
Yeah, and have you guys gone over the claim yet?
No.
No,
Oh, okay,
no, we're not there yet.
okay, perfect.
So, I would make a motion that we approve the a letter for, this budget adjustment.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Terry Kelly. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. You. Let's go on to 10C. Discussion, vote on project technical memo.
See, where
Where
do we
we
stand
are.
on that?
Where we are on that is the technical memo has been incorporated into the MSR PER report. And so a lot of the technical information that we need is already done. But when we get to the project technical report, we'll use that, what's already been done as a basis. And there are some other things that we have to consider on the technical report that goes to the state.
Have we sent that to, or are we able to send that to Lawrence? Because we need that to be able to move forward on the wells.
Waiting for the approval of the district to let me turn it loose.
Okay, so what portions of that are, or do you have that separately where?
No, it's part of the report that that you folks have. It's I think 21 pages or 23 or something like that. So we just need, to if
Is that
everybody.
part of the MSR? Is that what you're saying, Dee?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I just need to be able to get this thing released so people can do a review. And also we can send it down to Ravish to get him at least started and asking some questions. I'm sure he'll have some. And if there are any changes, we can incorporate those, but we'll at least be able to get his part of the work started.
Okay, I'll make a motion that, we, approve the project technical memo that was part of the MSR, so that.
Really,
You can't really do that because it's separate. I mean, it's incorporated. There isn't
Right.
there isn't anything that points out that it's the technical memo. So again, we just
Okay,
need,
so we'll approve the MSR when we get to it then.
yeah.
Okay, all
And
right,
you're
we
not,
can move
you're
on.
not approving, okay.
Okay, let's go to 10E. Discussion vote on the acquisition and development of the Well 9 property. We kind of touched on that earlier.
we did.
Yeah.
We're still gonna figure out if we need,
We're in
the whole,
negotiation.
yeah. We're in negotiation. We have to figure out if we need the whole lot or some other piece of property.
Right.
Yes,
We have.
Okay.
and Dee will be working on the technical stuff with that, pressure zones and all that, which we should have that information within 2 weeks.
Beautiful. F, discussion vote update on the district sphere of influence map for the annexation. That was tabled once. Are we still tabled?
Yeah, it's already been approved, so that's,
Beautiful. G, discussion vote on project municipal service review, MSR, quote, draft MSR, data collection, scope of work, and LAFCO.
okay, I will make.
Director Nyman, when you make this motion, you're not approving the MSR.
I
because-
know that, I understand, Director Shorman, let me make the motion, and if you need to correct me, then at that time, I would appreciate a correction. I make a motion that we, said that we approved the draft MSR for release for review and update by Ramesh and to the state stakeholders.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I still, can I just say, Dee, that's not really the MSR per se, that's the engineering portion and the older part of the MSR, so we still are including, I mean, it's not really the draft MSR at this point, is it?
That's correct, Lisa. That's exactly correct. The other half of it will be done by Stanley.
Oh, so I think the wording is not, I think you just need to.
You want to make the motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
I move that we allow the release to all the appropriate parties of the engineering portion of the MSR in draft to be looked at and incorporated into the full MSR by Stanley Hoffman and Associates, as well as to be approved or available for questions by the state.
I'll second that. Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman. Aye. Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0-1 absent. Motion is carried. Thank you. H. Discussion vote on the memorandum of understanding. That has been tabled. Are we still tabled on that?
Yes.
Okay, tabled. Aye. Discussion vote on Lake of the Woods projects and consolidation.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, perfectly, Pam. Go ahead.
Okay, so other than we're moving forward with our project, we still haven't done a notice to proceed, but the signage is up. And just today I sent up the new soundings and well production for our system. And we are seeing a recharge, but we're still pumping the waste well number 4 and 7 for high nitrates, iron, and manganese. And that's it. I gave you a lot already, so.
Letter J, discussion vote on claim 29 and other claims and payouts.
Director Garcia, this is Joan. Is the board interested in hearing how much we've seen our water levels going up?
Sure, that is pertinent information. Thank you, Joan. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay, now I got to figure out where I wrote it down. Hang on a second. I put it in a safe spot. There it is. Okay, this is comparing on our water levels from the beginning of January. Pam, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's the beginning or the end of January. Well number 1 has gone up 9.5 feet. Well number 2 has gone up 10 feet. Well number 4 has gone up 14.5 feet. We're just starting to monitor well number 5 because we haven't used it for many years, but we're trying to get a feeling as to what's happening in the aquifer in that area. So in the last week, it's gone up 1 foot. Well number 6 has gone up 14 feet. Well number 7, 8.5 feet. We're also monitoring the amount of water flow coming through the various creeks in various locations so that we can get a feeling as to what's happening with the creeks, therefore what's happening underground, what areas of the Lake of the Woods is recharging faster than others, and as that recharging happens more to the west, do we see it start growing more to the east? And at what point do we see to the west kind of dropping off? And personally, I'm also monitoring of the creek flows as it's coming down through Fraser Park, of when the creek beds are starting to show flow and when they're not. So we can get a overall feeling as to what's happening. above ground and therefore to see how it relates to underground. If I remember right in the last meeting, Johnny has the ability to do a sounding on well 6, but not on well 5. Did I misunderstand, Johnny?
That's correct.
And are you seeing well number 6 going up yet?
Nothing as wonderful as yours, but it's definitely gone up. I would have to dig in and see. I would actually look, the last year to get a better idea. But from January, our pumping level was 114 and 67 feet static. In March, pumping level was 111, so that's better, and 66 foot static. So it hasn't come up drastically. It's come up about a foot, and our pumping level's a little bit better. But I suspect that it's a lot better for you guys, because I know that my brother-in-law, he lives behind the old nursery there, and there's still a river flowing through that creek behind his house.
There
That's
sure
good.
is. So from what we can see, ours is going to be hitting possibly a couple of months before, maybe less, before it hits to you. But the levels that we're seeing up, we're going to be interested to see at what time frame underground that starts percolating down to you and you start coming up, and at what time we start dropping off, and then at what point you start dropping off. So we can have a better idea of what's happening all along the whole mountain. So we
So
can
what I'll
predict
do
the future.
What I'll do for now is when I get yours, when I get you email it to me every time, you email yours, I'll immediately right then respond with what our levels are.
Awesome.
And that
Awesome.
way,
That would be great.
then that way it can be incorporated and you can see it all at once. That way I won't forget to send it to you.
That way we won't be up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent information, John. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys,
Thanks,
just to
John.
add to that, so she was right. It was the end of January that started. And when I look back through our records, it's looking like those soundings are getting close to what we saw in March of 2021 for some of our wells. Some of them are right around the exact same amount. Some are a little off. So it's been a couple of years since we've seen some of these numbers.
Okay, letter J, discussion vote on claim 29 and other claims and payouts.
Okay, for claim 29, for board of directors fees, it was $500. We had a invoice from, we had 2 invoices from Young and Woolridge. One invoice is invoice 99011, and the other in the amount of $487.50. And the second invoice was invoice 99794 for a total of $910. So that totaled to $1,397.50 for those 2 invoices. Staff recovery costs in the amount of $58.75. And then we had a couple invoices from D. Jasper and Associates. First invoice is 23-00316, and that was for Consolidation Engineering. A portion of it, which was the work completed, was well 9 site plan, or work that was done was well 9 site plan. So that was a total of $3,856. Second invoice was 23-00317, and that was also Consolidation Engineering, but this was for admin work. For a total of $2,043.96. Then we had that invoice that I spoke about at the beginning was invoice 23-00316. The second portion of that invoice was for project design report, and for a total of $15,660.34. And then we had the third invoice was invoice 23-00320. And that's the portion that Lisa was talking about, that we used to charge that to test well drilling, but since we changed it, well, actually, that wasn't gonna be test well drilling. That was gonna be charged to consolidation MSR. But we decided that that would be MSR PER charges instead. So we're charging that invoice to project design report as well in the amount of $6,510. So the total invoice or the total of invoices for this claim was $30,026.55.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to pay. I'll make a motion that we approve claim 29 for the date periods March 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2023 in the invoice numbers and amounts that were stated. And for the amount of $30,026.55. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman. Aye. Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. 11. Discussion vote update on FPPUD meter replacement project and emergency well supply project. A, discussion vote update on well number 7.
I guess that I'll go ahead with that. Well number 7, I think we resolved the $10,000 issue. I think there was a question on that. Curtis worked on that, sent out an email on it last week, I think, or first of this week.
So did they did submit it with the claim?
I'm not sure.
We needed to know that, Dee, because otherwise it's coming out of our pocket. That's what Lawrence said.
Well, yeah, my assumption is it was submitted with a claim. I think, Carlos, you can probably address that.
Well, remember, he had to have it that day.
Well, we responded that day.
Okay. Okay, then it should be on the claim. All right,
There's
great.
2 amounts that were in discussion. One was for 10,000 and one was for 128,000. Let me see if I can find one. Because I saw that Curtis responded to that. And what Lawrence said was, "Thank you, Curtis. This addresses my question." So it seems like it's okay. And that was Lawrence's response to Curtis.
So we got that
Okay,
covered.
it's going to be discussion vote update on meter replacement.
No new news there. Meters have been ordered. You know, now it's a year less a month away. But we're you know, it's just meters are ordered and we're waiting to get them.
Oh, can we go back to
Yeah, I had a question.
number
Mark.
8?
Sure. Let's go back to A, discussion vote update on well 7.
What I've got here is that it'll be a week or two before we have the cost to abandon updated to Lawrence. Is that correct, Dee? Is that what we discussed in the meeting?
Yeah, we did discuss that, and I've asked Curtis to get us an update there.
Anyone else have questions or discussion
Yeah,
points?
I had a concern and I'm trying to find it in this mess that, because I don't have the book in front of me. I saw something that was dealing with the budget of like the final budget. It was a letter that said final budget. Does anybody have that? Am I crazy? Does anybody have it in front of them? Because I was concerned about that because that wasn't addressing any of the, it was like an okay from the state saying that they had approved the final budget, but it wasn't addressing any of the abandonment or the lesser charges for the well because we didn't supply it or do any of the stuff, the extra stuff we were going to do. So is that, I can't find it. I don't know where I saw that.
Lisa, we're still working on that with the contractor.
Okay, so I guess, well, my question was, is that final budget deal from the state, I can't find it in front of me. Does anybody have that in front of them? or-
I have the letter. It says final budget approval, Fraser Park Public Utility District. Fraser Park Public District meter replacement project and emergency well supply project drinking water state revolving fund program. And it says, thank you for submitting the budget approval form, received 15/2023 to establish final budget for phase 2 of the project, which includes construction costs for installing approximately 1,273 replacement residential and well water meters, associated for, I don't know, this is a service line replacement, connections and all contingencies and soft costs for the project. This letter serves as DFA's approval of the final plan and specifications for phase 2 of the project, August 22 respectively, includes a determination of eligible project costs, see table 1, the specific construction eligibilities for the project. Per section B60 of the agreement, number D20-02051 agreement, the Division of Financial Assistance has reviewed your final budget approval form and agrees to reimburse eligible project costs in accordance with agreement up to $3,464,036, consistent with the attached final approved budget column shown in table 1. Reimbursement of any above final approval is not authorized without an amendment to the agreement.
So I think my only concern was that it doesn't talk about phase 1. Let's see. This one, phase 1.
Phase 1, they have it capped at it says $1,077,392. Now, I don't know.
It shouldn't even be that much, correct, Dee? Because that should have been including on phase 1, and I don't have that right in front of me. That should have been including fitting the well and all that, which we are not going to do.
Right, and again, we're working with the contractor to get the final cost there for that project. So still don't have an answer, but it's going to be less than 1.7 million.
Yeah, so we're covered with this final letter. It just doesn't address the changes that have happened.
1,077,000, not 1.7. It's a 1,077,392.
So with the change orders and everything, because there were some change orders and different things, we're good with that still, correct?
That's my understanding. Lisa.
It should be less than that.
It'll be less than that.
Do you have any idea how much we've already got from Unified?
No,
I think we've done.
I can check that out with Curtis, but no, I don't. I know he's dealing with them, on a weekly basis. And I don't have an update on that.
Well, I think we need to find out really quickly on this to make sure, because they said, what's it say? That we have to,
agree on it.
Yeah, we have to agree on it. Okay. Project will coordinate with DFA payments units so you can begin drawing construction funds consistent with the final budget approval shown in table 1. Where does it say? There said something about agreement. Trying to.
On page 2, if you don't,
It says,
do not, that's the final approved budget,
Where does it say?
on page 2.
On page 2. Where is it? On what one? What number?
top, page 2 at the top. If you do not consent, I found
Project
it.
eligibility.
If you do not consent.
Up at the top.
How come I don't see it on mine?
It says
Oh, page 2. Okay, I'm sorry. If you do not consent to the final approved budget in table 1 or eligibility determinations contained in 2 for phase 2 of the project, you must notify DFA of your disagreement within 14 days.
Yeah,
Please note-
but read the next thing. I think we already did this. Didn't we already submit something for phase 2 for the meter wells?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. so
Well,
it's-
yeah,
No, it
but,
says, please note, submitting a disbursement request pursuant to this agreement for phase 2, which I think we already did, will be treated as the recipient's providing its explicit consent to the terms herein. So I guess it's a moot point. Unless I'm wrong about that. I think we already put in some, didn't we already charge back some stuff for phase 2, D?
Yeah, I believe we did. We have some charges against that, but, and that would be material ordering charges. Again, we're staying on top of it. I can't give you some of the details because Curtis is doing that and he has just left the office. But any questions, certainly I'll get them to Curtis, we'll get an answer. But we're working with the state and with the contractors, at least on a weekly basis. And pretty much.
Okay, but, so if we have a disagreement on phase 1 of this table, we have to say something within 14 days.
Well,
So today, from the 24th.
I don't think so. I think the line after it says that we already gave our table. If you do not consent to the final approved budget in table 1 or eligibility determinations contained in table 2 for phase 2, you must notify. Please note, submitting a disbursement request pursuant to this agreement for phase 2 will be treated as the recipient's providing its explicit consent to the terms herein. So I don't think I think we're already in phase 2 and we don't have a ability to say anything.
right, we're not in disagreement with those tables. They cover both of those projects and there's money left over.
Okay, as long as there's money left over in phase 1, then it's not gonna go above and over what we're gonna do to abandon the well.
Right, and there's money left over in phase 2 as well.
Right,
Okay.
and we've gotten from Unified all that they're gonna bill us for, except for the abandonment. Is
No,
that correct?
no, that's really what I'm talking about. Words, what is the question? How much do we deduct or is deducted from the contract amount with Unified to because we stopped the project? And so the issue is, they have some of that stuff ordered. What do we do with that? Can they turn it back? We're trying to get it turned back. Some of the equipment, those kind of things that were already pre-ordered. So the things that we're working with Unified on are pieces of equipment and things like that that were pre-ordered that we're not going to use. So we're working with them to work that out. But nevertheless, one way or the other, we will be under the
So-
budget amount for phase one.
Okay, so, but here's a question. If the stuff that they've ordered, they can't turn back and we have to pay for,
Comes
are
out,
we gonna, well, it comes out of the contract, but shouldn't we be receiving some of that stuff?
But like one of the things is the meter. Obviously, if we had to pay for it, we would keep the meter and we would use it at one of our other wells when needed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that whatever we pay for, like if it's a pump or it's something that they've already ordered, that we bring it here so that when our next project comes along, we possibly can use that or use it. I mean, I don't know how feasible that is, but it seems, I hate paying money for something that we're not going to be able to use.
yeah, we've got that covered, Brahma. We're not, if there's a piece of equipment that is already shipped and we're gonna pay for it through the project, it's gonna come to the district.
Okay.
Okay. Discussion vote on claim 14, another claims and payouts.
That's you, Oscar.
Sorry, I was muted. So for claim 14, we have 2 invoices. They're both from D. One is for the Will 5 project for correspondence. That's 23-00321, and that's in the amount of $410.25. And the next invoice is for the meters, and that's invoice 23-00322, and that's in the amount of $556, which brings the total amount of claim 14 to $966.25. But I do want to mention, going back to the email that you guys received, that had the updated budget and the claim forms for 260 and 261. I talked to Lawrence today, and he indicated that he wanted me to put claim 14 on those new updated forms. So just letting you guys know, those same amounts are going to go on, but they're going to have to be on the new forms that they sent over in that email.
Okay. Okay, so you're just gonna redo it, is what
Yeah,
you're
I'm just
saying.
gonna redo it and use the new forms.
Okay, okay, so I make a motion that we approve claim 14 for the period of March 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2023, in the invoices stated in the amount of $966.25.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Sorry, I couldn't get it off mute. Aye.
Okay, Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Letter D, discussion vote update on bridge loan requests and payments.
At this point, there's nothing new. We had received it. We're waiting on that was the one that we just discussed of the claim going out that was corrected. And Lawrence said he got everything, so that claim for $325,000 should be in, and so we're just waiting on a check from the state, and we'll repay that loan.
Perfect, thank you. 12, discussion vote update on pipeline replacement project. A, discussion vote on potholing and mapping. How we doing there, D?
We're still trying to get Lyle scheduled for a couple of days, but we're moving ahead with, well, okay, potholing and mapping. So we're really done with that except for a couple of days down the lower end of the project area.
Okay. Letter B.
Wait,
Go ahead.
You know, D, I think that we need to press Lyles on this. I mean, they've gotten over $280-some thousand from it. And I think we need to press them to make some time to finish the last 2 days, because we need to get this thing done. And, you know, we use them and they've gotten the benefit of quite a bit of money, and we appreciate that. But at the same time, they should be looking out for us. And so I really think that they need to make some changes, or they need to do something to get it up here quickly instead of, well, I don't know when they're going to be able to come up here.
Well, we're in contact with them on a weekly basis, Brahma, and we are trying to push them ahead. It is not holding anything up, by the way. Our design work is continuing up or higher on the mountain and in the areas. We only have 2 areas that we have to look at. So it's not holding anything up, but we are pressing them every week. Guess I could go over to the office and grab Dave Stringer and put him up against the wall, but I wouldn't want to do that.
That would be
I might get hurt there, and I'd rather not have the claim. That's not covered by our contract. So anyway, but
okay.
we are in contact with them, Brahma, and you know, they're just trying to get a crew free.
Okay.
All righty. B, discussion vote on project budget.
Really, B, C, and D, we need to table until we're all done with the design that D's doing.
Thank you
Correct?
so much.
Is that correct, D?
That's correct. And you know, we're going to use up Lyle's budget on those next 2 days, and that'll zero that out. What we agreed to pay them for their work.
Excellent.
But then don't we have to get a budget together for the project itself so that we can submit the application, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, once we get it designed, we will submit a budget.
Okay.
Okay, 13, discussion vote update on the urgent drinking water needs funding.
Before we move on to that, I got a question for D real quick on 12.
Go ahead.
Is Tom Dodson the one that's going to do the environmental, D?
You mean for the regional project?
No, for the
Pipeline.
pipeline replacement project.
Yeah, Tom will do it.
He's doing the environmental?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what that scope of work entails from him? Do you have a copy of that you can send me?
No, I don't. When we get it designed, then we'll send him the plans, and then he'll give us whatever he needs to.
Okay, because I would like to include in that environmental work. I would like to include at least minimum. I'd like to include the air emissions table that they do with the CaliMod program.
Okay.
And if he can give a quote, you know, to fill out the environmental package, that would be nice as well. So either do the whole environmental package or just the air emissions table calculations with the CaliMod.
Okay.
And
I'll pass that.
hopefully it'll be covered in the budget that you quoted or that you gave me. If not, we could try to see if we can get
Yeah.
extra money, but hopefully it should be enough, I hope.
Yeah, my hunch is that it is, Carlos, but I'll cover the bases with him.
Okay.
Got a note here.
And I'd like to do the same for the regional project as well.
Okay, include the air emissions table.
Yeah, or the environmental package if it's not too much, you know, he can give us a quote for that.
Okay.
Okay, back to 13, discussion vote update on the urgent drinking water needs funding.
I got 2 updates.
Tiffany, you have the floor.
So I spoke to Mark Machado this week. The first update is that he verified that the state has cut the check for the first water hauling, and we should be receiving it in about 7 to 10 days.
Great.
That's going. The update on the second water hauling is Mark was explaining that when we applied for the urgent drinking water needs funding the first time, although that funding isn't designed for a water company like ours, they kind of did their own runaround because they saw we were hemorrhaging money. They knew it was connected to a grant project. So they did their own runaround to get us that funding. Also, it's outside the scope of that particular grant fund. But on this case, because it's not a lot of money, it was only $7,640, and it isn't designed for a system. They were saying it's designed for systems much smaller than ours who are having emergency situations, that they really don't see that we'll get approved for that funding. They said the time it takes for us to go through the application for them to review it isn't worth the money, and he said it's not worth the money.
I can see that reasoning. They helped us out immensely with the first one.
Okay. And when we get the check, we're gonna deposit that in the C capital improvement account?
Do you want it to go to revenue and then back into capital, or do you want it to go directly?
Well, I guess we should put it in revenue and then I'll make a transfer. Because we did transfer out of the CIR into revenue and cut checks. So, is that where we cut the checks from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So have it go back into the revenue and then I'll make a let me know and I'll make a transfer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion at this time.
Director Schoenberg, you have the floor.
I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting. We're about 7 minutes off from our normal ending time to finish business, and we may have to table a few.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Director Nyman. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 401, motion carried at 6:55. 401, okay, thank you. All right, number 14, discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency allocation to special districts grant.
Okay,
And
Me and
before you
Carlos,
guys move on to that, I say myself and Oscar, we're gonna say good night, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, thank you guys. Regular time next time.
Bye.
Good night.
so you know, generators, we received them, then we applied for permits. I received, I got 2 printed and I got 2 more in the email now. I got the authority to construct, place them on sites, which is a good sign to me because it means they're not gonna shoot it down. I also got some invoices, they're roughly $1,200 per for the 4 that we got. There's a checklist that I gotta go through, and then we gotta let them know when we're ready to have them inspected and come out. One of the things I gotta check on is it says that they have to be vented through the top, if the process go through the top. I don't recall how they're vented, but anyway, there's just this checklist, the conditions that we have to go through. fuel requirements, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so it's proceeding smoothly so far. So
Do we know how they're vented, D?
I just have to walk out and look at them. I'm assuming they're vented through the top, but.
Letter B.
Well, what are we gonna do if they're not vented through the
Then
top?
it would just be a matter of some exhaust pipe being plumbed. I got a car, if the car, needs exhaust vented out the side instead of out the back, you just pay a muffler guy to do it.
We're the muffler guy.
That would be the muffler guy. I'm pretty sure they come out of the top, though, so I wouldn't be concerned.
Good.
Anyway,
Go on with letter B, discuss and vote on engineering and design.
we haven't had a chance to, he was out of town and, he was gonna send another engineer up, but he was busy, so I'm hoping that we can get together next week to look at the sites.
Okay, 15, discussion vote update on district
D, are you okay with that, D?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we didn't hear him.
Planning on it.
All right.
Shake his head.
Thank you.
Number 15, discussion vote update on district water tank repair and or replacement. A, discussion vote update on Elm Tank.
No update on no tank, still trying to find that.
B, discussion vote on parcel B.
I reached out again to Dan Johnson, but I gotta get down there and actually talk to him tomorrow. If I have enough time, when I do the file the notice of exemption, I'll try to stop by and see if I can see him. Otherwise, I'll try to schedule time next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think, D, I think we're through with you for today.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you, D. Take the night off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
All right.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you at the next meeting for sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
D.
Thank you.
Number 16,
Good
discussion.
night.
Okay, good night. Discussion vote on employee handbook.
Want me to give you?
Sure.
Jerry Pearson
Tiffany.
sent the handbook with all the final updates and changes, so whenever we're ready, it's in your hands.
Can I make a suggestion? We should do it at our regular meeting.
Yes. Is that a motion?
Is that, okay, I'll make a motion that we table this till our regular meeting and that we we go over it and approve it at the next regular meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 17, discussion vote on leasing a security camera system from American Business Machine.
Yeah, on this one, you guys had some questions about, maintenance and leasing and all that stuff, and luckily when, American Business Machine came by to discuss it with me, there was 2 board members present, Lisa was here, and, I think, Becky was here
Becky.
as well.
Yeah. So, can I say something quickly?
Sure, go ahead.
So yeah, we were there and we got to ask a few questions, and basically, there was a difference, as far as leasing and owning. Owning is the better way to go because the lease includes a lot of interest. So it would end up costing us about $5,000 more, in interest, which we could save, that for other things, which we'll definitely need to start doing now. So, so there's definitely a much better, price as far as owning it. He assured us that the cameras, should stay, viable for a while, and that they come out there wouldn't be an actual contract. It wouldn't be like the copy machine where they come out all the time, where we have a contract. It would be that we would just call them, because basically he said it was also less expensive if it's actually on an as needed basis, as opposed to paying a contract for them to just be under contract monthly. So
It's also got
what?
a 5-year warranty. I was
I
just gonna add that 5-year warranty on everything.
Yeah, I can't. It's really hard to hear you. You break up. I think you said 5-year warranty.
Yes.
So yeah, so that so I was happy with all of the things that he was talking about. I asked about how much we could see, how long it holds information for, which it varies depending on the size, that we get as far as the drive, but it sounded like it was sufficient for what we need it for, and that we'd be able to, depending on how often. He said they could trigger the cameras, which I'm hoping that that's what we do, so that the cameras aren't just on all the time, but they trigger based on motion or whatever, so that it's able to record longer. And yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with everything he was talking about.
Yeah, so we would just purchase them outright, although there wouldn't be a replacement as with a lease. These are, they use these for TSA and a lot of other stuff, a lot of other businesses, the clubhouse out in the Pine Mountain Club, a lot of other places. There's no reason why they won't last much longer than the 5 years. Then if something does happen and it's like one camera that's an issue, it wouldn't be all of them. You would just replace that one camera, and then you pay them time and material to come out and actually do it if we just don't do it ourselves. So I'm recommending that we go ahead and get this camera for $16,475.21. Camera system.
I'll entertain a motion at this time. You want to make one, Director Schoenberg, since you had the ability to see it and answer the questions?
Well, I didn't see anything, but I was pretty happy with his responses. So yeah, I'll move that we go ahead and spend the money to purchase the system outright, and then and not do a contract with them, but rather do a as needed basis of as we need to fix things.
Maintenance, okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Right. Motion has been made and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman. Aye. Director Kelly. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 18, discussion vote on notice of public hearing.
So this is for the upcoming special assessment that we need to publish in the newspaper for 2 weeks. I did confirm with Alan, we only have to send it to the 15 properties listed on the notice.
Oh, good.
If you approve it, I'll have to get it out by May 5th.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the notice of public hearing,
Based on delinquent accounts.
based on delinquent accounts. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 19, discussion vote on the quote for a skip loader.
Okay, I'll start off by saying I'm gonna recommend that you not approve this. But I wanted to show my due diligence in trying to save money on maintenance costs and everything. If we were in a better spot financially, this would be the absolute best way to go. The loader that we got with the Gannon box, is starting to be more of a maintenance issue for us. I was forewarned by the mechanic that, in 2 to 3 years, we could end up with a $20,000 transmission job on it. And the trade-in value of it right now is $45,000. So to get another one that's only got like 80-something hours on it with a warranty would be roughly around $88,000 out of our
Half of it.
No, that's what we'd end up paying is the.
88.
Well, actually, it says right here that with
With the sales
the
tax.
trade-in and sales tax and all that stuff, we'd end up paying $100,000, $99,000. So I don't see how we could do that right now, but if we're looking at long-term avoiding, maintenance costs and, being irritated every time we have to throw another $10,000 at it, then maybe this is something that we need to look at if we have enough money in the CIP, so.
Well, I think that's something that we should take out of the CIP. I mean, and we're getting, and I think we have, I don't have it in front of me, but I think we have like 800 and something thousand in the CIP, and we're getting a reimbursement of 196,000. So
Before we go there, because we still have the tank issues and a lot of stuff, I would really love to be able to crunch the new numbers that we just did and see where we're at and if we're going to be in the red already. So, I would just say,
okay, why don't we carry it over till the how long is this quote good for?
Well, now, I think the quote for the trade-in would be the same. Since it's already been a little while, the trade-in, the one that we would be buying that's got 87 hours on it, that may or may not be available, but he said that he could find something else that was comparable to that. So we can put it off for 2 months if you want to, and we'll revisit it then.
Okay.
And in the meantime, if Tiffany could remind me, before we revisit it, I'll ask for a more current, quote at that time so we can look at it again.
Why don't we revisit it in 2 months and put it on our regular meeting?
Of July?
So that would be May, June. Well, 2 months is June, isn't it? No.
Well,
May, June, yeah, July, the beginning of July. Is that okay with you, Director Schoenberg?
yes.
Okay, cool. Number 20, review and approve meeting minutes for 4/2023 state update meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the state update standing committee, Thursday, April 20th, 2023, meeting minutes with any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previous to and after the meeting, as well as any additional amendments for typos or other errors that we may or may not have caught or that may need to be corrected.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 21. Any discussion or vote on any future agenda items? I think we've dealt with them pretty good along the way. Any other
Director Garcia?
suggestions or speaking?
Sorry. Hi, this is Joan. Could I get a copy of the state update meeting minutes sent to me, please?
I will email them. I'm off Monday, Tuesday, but if you want them faster, it's on our website. Every meeting packet is now on our website, so they're sitting on there if you want to grab them.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Tiffany.
Anything else, Joan?
Nope, good.
Thank you. No future, agenda items. Seen, I'll move to 22. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson, absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a
Good night,
very
everyone.
productive
Aye.
meeting.
Becky, text